Hi, I'm Fiona Rodden. I'm the programme lead for talent in the South East. I'm also the lead interviewer and the line manager for the project manager job that you've applied for. You've been sent this video because you've been shortlisted for an interview. Congratulations. Attached to the email should be an information pack from NHS Improvement and NHS England, which talks about some of the practicalities and approach to virtual interviewing, because it is something that we're all getting used to. So do have a look at that document. But I've done this video because I'm someone that finds interviewing a bit difficult, and I get quite nervous, and I know most people do, and that's okay. So here's just a little bit of information to know what to expect, to hopefully make you feel a little bit more relaxed and like your true self, because that's what we want to see. So first of all, some of the practical stuff. We'll be using Microsoft Teams. You can download that onto your computer or your smartphone, or you can also join from a browser. You don't need to pay to join Microsoft or download anything. And if you really can't access Microsoft Teams, tell us in advance and we'll try to make alternative arrangements. When you join, you'll enter a virtual lobby, and you might be alone to start with, particularly if you join a few minutes early, which is quite a good idea, just in case there are any technical problems. If you're waiting, it could be that we've had some technical problems and are still with a previous interview, or that we're just completing some of our assessment of a previous interview. We'll try to send you an email or a message or a text if we're late for any reason. But if you're waiting for more than 15 minutes, then then you can leave. We'll call you by mobile. It's likely that some technical issues have come up. Your panel is going to be made of 3 people, and that's to ensure that we have a fair and transparent process and that our decisions are evidence-based. We'll all introduce ourselves to you first, but just so you know who's likely to be on the panel, first of all, as lead interviewer, it'll be me as the line manager for the role. And also Caroline, Lily will know, and she's doing the same job, the project manager job that you're applying for, but she's doing it in the Southwest. So she's got a really good insight into what the job entails on a day-to-day basis. We're also interviewing with Carol Kuchera, who's one of our key stakeholders, but he's external to our programme. And he's a kind of programme manager for the Workforce Disability Equality Standards piece of work within inclusion in NHS Improvement and England. So he'll have a particular interest in work around inclusive leadership. It's really helpful to see your face, but it's not make or break. So seeing your face helps us to better understand what you're saying and read any non-verbal cues. I myself have got hearing difficulties and so end up lip reading quite a bit on the camera. So it is helpful to see your face. It's not about how beautiful or gorgeous you look. It's really just to get some of those non-verbal cues. But if you're really uncomfortable on camera, tell us, and we want to make you feel comfortable first and foremost. If we get cut off, don't panic. We will try to reconnect with you for about 5 or 10 minutes. And if that doesn't work, we'll try to call you on your mobile number that you gave us, and continue that way. If for some reason we need to reschedule within a reasonable time frame, we'll do that. We won't be recording you. We will be taking notes throughout the interview. So if we're not kind of making eye contact or looking at the screen all of the time and see us typing away, it's because we have to take notes to make sure that our decisions are based on what you said, not just what we remembered of what you said. But we won't be recording the video, so we won't be sharing anything outside of the interview. Everything is confidential. If you don't understand or can't hear properly, say so. We will make every attempt to make sure that the questions are worded clearly and that we don't have any background noise. But as you'll know, things sometimes go wrong. So if something's unclear, please just say. Every candidate has got a separate interview link. and so that means that no one's going to accidentally join us, even if we're overrunning for some reason. And I keep saying overrunning. It is quite important to me that we do run on time, but because it's a virtual arrangement, I just want to be preparing for any kind of difficult situations. But you should have the link in the email that was sent to you, so use that link. You can also test that link in advance just to make sure that your computer will let you open it, and it's only for that meeting, so don't worry. So it might be worth just having a look to see that your technical kind of arrangements work. The interview will be made up of a 15-minute exercise and a 30-minute interview. The exercise will involve a scenario which will be sent to you the day before the interview at the email address that you provided. And we'll be asking about how you'd respond to that scenario. So allow yourself a little bit of time to read through the scenario, to think about it and reflect on it. You can prepare a visual presentation if you want to share on the day, or you can just talk us through your thinking. Either of those is fine. Really, we're looking at your communication style, but also the points that you raise and your thinking process. The interview that follows that will be a competency-based interview, and that means that we will be asking you questions that ask you to share your experience, and that can be from work or outside, the experience that demonstrates your skills and your behaviours in action. Do remember to bring ID with you. You will just need to show it to the camera at the beginning of your interview, and that's just to verify that you are who you say you are. It could be a driving license or a passport, but you should also have an attachment, I think, on the email which will tell you other types of ID that are okay. So some general tips for interviewing. First of all, we're not trying to catch you out. Part of doing this video is to help people who are less comfortable interviewing. The job we're asking you to do isn't interviewing, so really it's just a way of getting information across. If a question isn't clear or you're not sure from it what we're asking for, then ask for clarification. We try to make the questions as clear as possible, but of course we're human, and sometimes if you're not 100% sure what a question's looking for, you can briefly clarify what you think the question means at the beginning of your answer so that we can interject if that's not the right thing. Timekeeping. In interviews, some people tend towards waffling or talking for too long, and some people towards overly short and concise answers that don't really give a lot of evidence. It's pretty good practice to give us enough information that answers a question, but tends to be no more than a couple of minutes, so that we can then ask some supplementary questions to bring out the aspects that we're specifically looking for. We're interviewing you, not the team that you worked in. One of the kind of big pitfalls in interviewing is a lot of people talk about what we did. So, you know, as a team, we did this. And I can totally understand that's about having collective ownership, and they're really important qualities. But in an interview, we're looking to recruit and appoint you, not the whole team. So what we're looking for is not for you to take credit for everything that the team did, but to be a bit more specific about what your specific contribution was. The scenario is less important than what you did. So we see many people go into a lot of detail about the specifics of a scenario, or introduce a lot of technical jargon, or give a blow-by-blow account of what happened. Aim to give enough detail about the scenario to set the scene, to help us understand the decisions you made, but the focus really should be on what you did, why you did it, and what you learned and what the impact was. You can use non-work examples too. So some people spend time volunteering or managing things outside of their formally paid work. And so long as those examples are relevant and demonstrate the skills and behaviours and values that we're looking for, then absolutely use them. Interviewing is two-way. So you've got the opportunity to ask questions during your interview, or even before and after, But it's not about coming with a list of questions that look good or show that you've done a huge amount of research, but really it's the chance to see if we're a good fit for you as well. So, what would make the difference to you in making this the best job? And ask us, because, we want to make sure that we can provide that for you as well. Get as comfortable as you can be. Of course, you're interviewing, so it's never exactly going to be completely relaxing, and that's a good thing because it makes you really pay attention and do your preparation. But we want to see you in your best light. If interviewing makes you anxious, then think about what makes you more relaxed, because it'll give you a better chance to reflect some of your strengths. If we were in a face-to-face room, we'd make sure that you had a drink to hand and a comfortable chair. So you're going to have to do that for yourself, but also take some quiet time beforehand, like you would have naturally if you're doing a face-to-face interview. You'd kind of sit in a waiting area, calmly thinking through, or just keeping your mind clear. Just make sure you've got a bit of time to do that and you're not rushing straight from something else. And another tip that we've heard has been quite useful in interviewing is putting a picture next to your webcam of somebody that you trust. And that could be someone close to you, or it could be someone you've never met but inspires trust in you, just to put yourself at ease so you know who you're answering to. Interviewing is kind of, I would say, essentially about relationship building and storytelling. And you can think in advance about some of the stories that really show the qualities that you have and what would make you great for the job. So it's worth thinking through how you might answer with some great stories from your work history or life history. So I wish you the best of luck. I'm really looking forward to meeting you virtually. Thanks so much for watching this video.